Hey everyone, Ryan here and welcome to another episode of BGP Game Dev, and I'm proud to announce that work has already started on my next game. So yes, I have officially started my second game in the past week. But before we get to that, I'm still working on the Popcorn Rocket console ports, and at the time of this recording when this video is out in mid-September 2023, I sent Popcorn Rocket to Sony for PS5 compliance testing and it failed. Luckily a lot of the errors were very minor and I was able to fix them very quickly, so I resubmitted to Sony and I should get the results within a week after this video is posted. But yeah, now I really believe all the horror stories about getting your game on consoles, since Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo literally check every single little detail in your game to make sure it matches their compliance checks. I'm still trying to aim for the PS5 Popcorn Rocket release to coincide with the Steam and Epic releases on October 17, but if I have to delay the PS5 release for whatever reason, then I will. And hopefully I'll also be getting my Xbox dev kit sometime before the end of this year, since Microsoft really likes to take their time sending you it. So once I get the Xbox dev kit, then I'll have to spend time learning how to use it and their developer portal so I can get Popcorn Rocket on Xbox. And as for the Nintendo Switch, I'm still not an approved Nintendo developer just yet since Nintendo rejected me twice, but once I launch Popcorn Rocket on Steam, Epic, and the PlayStation Store, and then I'll reapply for Nintendo so I can show Nintendo that I'm capable of launching a game not only on the PC but on the consoles as well. And I'm not going to worry about physical copies of Popcorn Rocket just yet since I'm working on just getting the digital releases ready, which has been quite an ordeal within itself. I have been looking into getting the physical copies made, but it's a much more complicated process that I can't really talk too much about due to NDAs, aka non-disclosure agreements, and I have to make sure it's actually financially feasible, but every game developer's dream is to hold a physical copy of their game in their hands, so I'm gonna try to find a way. Anyways, back to my second game. So it's hard to believe that only 2 years ago that I started development on Popcorn Rocket, learning Unity and Game Maker Studio tutorials, but I eventually settled for Game Maker Studio since it was easier for me to follow and I want to make 2D games a lot more. So my next game will be an action platformer, which is a parody and tribute to the Indiana Jones series under the codename California Bob and the Scepter of Tax Evasion. Well, that's not the real name of the game, but maybe I'll still use that name for something in the future since it sounds a lot like a good parody type game. It's gonna combine elements of Castlevania, Mega Man, and Indiana Jones' Greatest Adventures on the Super Nintendo, and Super Castlevania 4 is probably gonna be the biggest inspiration for the gameplay since it's my all-time favorite Castlevania game, but I'm gonna make the gameplay a tad more fast-paced like Castlevania Symphony of the Night, mostly based on Richter's gameplay. And my good friend Christopher Bell from Rejected Ninja, who did the Popcorn Rocket soundtrack and many other Battle Geek Plus themes since the channel started, is returning for the music, and he's the only one right now who knows what the real name of the game is and what the protagonist looks like, and I'm really looking forward to hearing his take on the legendary Indiana Jones theme and turn it into his own since he did such an amazing job on the Popcorn Rocket soundtrack. And most people don't even get to make a second game, and most people never finish a first game. And some people just make one game and quit realizing how hard it is. I mean, heck, most people don't even begin a game in the first place after saying they want to make games because of how hard it is, and I gave up game dev for over 15 years. So I think most game developers consider getting to a second game a major accomplishment in itself, and my first commercial game is only a month away from release at the time of this video. And I'm glad I didn't actually start with an action platformer first, and while the experience of making Popcorn Rocket was definitely not an easy one, I enjoyed the process so much that I'm willing to go through it all again, but this time with the experience of having previously finished a whole game. It's nice learning tutorials and not feeling overwhelmed when I first started, since I've already been through this process before. And I know an action platformer is a very different beast than a shooter game since action platformers are constantly state changes of your character as your character moves, attacks, ducks, etc. And now I have to really learn the mechanics of actual level design since shooters are mostly just placing a ship on one screen and having enemies come at you. Now I need to place enemies at certain points, have obstacles, platforms, pits, etc. And the Mega Man series is my favorite gaming series, but even after playing through all the games over the years, I realized how very little I know about actual platform design, so I'll be playing not only through Super Castlevania 4, but going through the Mega Man games again, so I can find inspiration for the level design, and I hope I can make a solid action platformer. I have zero idea how long this game is going to take, and it'll definitely be a very long time before I can show anything, so right now my goal is to have the first draft of the script done by the end of the year and polish it up as much as I can, along with learning how to code a platformer. I already have artwork, sprites, and music already being done, so I can hopefully get a prototype with my main character done sometime early next year. I also hope to balance working on my action platformer along with the Popcorn Rocket console ports, so work on Popcorn Rocket isn't 100% done yet, but while I'm waiting for a lot of the console port stuff to happen, I can at least work on my action platformer in the meantime. So with that said, I'm really excited to start on my second game, and it's definitely going to be a different learning experience than the first. I'm going to be posting more updates in the future, so that ends this episode of BGP Game Dev, and this is Ryan signing out. Later, gamers. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure to check out these other videos, and also make sure to follow me on social media and check out the official BattleGeek Plus website. Take care.